How's it going, fam? Welcome back to Erica's EDC, and today we are going to do some edge testing on the MAGNAMAX. We are going to cut and chop and process a couple of kind of common household items and just see what happens to this edge, if we have any rolling, chipping, any deformation of any sort. So, welcome to my crazy, unscientific laboratory. Stay tuned. We're going to start with the softer materials. I have some zip ties here that we're going to cut through, see how the factory bite is. We're also going to scrape some, common PVC piping here. Then we'll move up to the wood. So we're going to cross baton some twisted pine. We can also do some work into this, crusty piece of 2x4. I do have some drywall stuff here, and then the ultimate test, which will probably be the end of it, is the copper piping. The point of this is not to try to break the knife, guys. This is just to see what happens when that apex comes in contact upon impact with various materials of various hardnesses. Okay, I'm thinking it should do fine with the plastic and the wood, but I think once we get into like this sheetrock stuff and the copper pipe, that's when we'll see some deformation. But I'm curious to see the manner that this apex deforms in. That's what I'm really curious about. So we'll start with the zip ties here, and I just kind of want to see how this MAGNAMAX bites into such a thing. Really nice. So we all know that steels can vary in terms of the type of edge that they have. Some have kind of more smooth, glassy edges. Some have really aggressive, toothy, bitey edges. So generally those slick, glassy edges do really well with food prep and certain other tasks, but not tasks where you need bite to grab the material and pull through it. So this is kind of a test to see how bitey that edge really is. Okay, I would say that's on the more aggressive side. When you get down to the little nubs of zip tie like this, it's hard to hold on to them, so you really are seeing how sharp and aggressive that edge is, because if you need too much force with a glassed out edge, it'll just like rip those little nubs right out of your hand. But as you saw, I was holding on to just a couple inches there, and the knife whizzed through that with ease, which tells me that, as I said in the first video, this is definitely a very aggressive edge. It's refined, but it is toothy in its own way. That's a good sign for me. Next, we'll just see how it does scraping some piping here. And you're going to hear that apex kind of tweaking in that plastic, okay? I'm digging it in and just kind of whittling it away and seeing what happens. Gonna see if I can get like a better grip on this to really dig it in. There we go. Do a little more scraping, and you can see when I'm not digging into the plastic, it's so sharp, it just curls little shavings of it. All right. Still feels good. We'll do a paper test. I have to keep this in my pocket because it's so humid from all the rain. Okay. No interruptions, perfect. Let's go on to the wood. And we'll just do some feathers first, see how it does with that. And then we're gonna do the cross batoning. And this thing just slays that wood. It has great bite. Love that. All right. Let's get into a little bit of the abusive side of things here. Now, I don't recommend doing stupid stuff like this, but this is just to test this MAGNAMAX, okay? Cross batoning, in my opinion, is not really necessary for the most part. I'm totally a fan of batoning wood down into smaller pieces, but the whole cross batoning thing is not something I do very often. But again, I just want to put some impact, and I want to put it on the knife in this direction, going straight through the grain, just because it's kind of challenging this knife as a whole in a different way than we're used to, okay? I just want to test toughness, strength. Everything as a whole. So far, so good. We're about halfway through. I'm not seeing any cracking, anything. Still good, okay. I just want to try to change my angle now that we're most of the way through. There we go. Okay, and we'll just wipe this off. Now, this is something that this is a task that I've rolled and chipped many edges on, because again, it's just going through that grain in a different direction. It can put a lot of force on that apex, and then especially that final snap through can really roll an edge. So let's just wipe that off. Test now that we've done that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's crazy. And I'm sure you guys heard that like snap when it went through. That's impressive. Wow, okay. We're gonna go on to the 2x4. Now this is going to be interesting, I think. Let me lift you guys up a little bit. We're starting to get into the more abusive stuff. And again, this isn't anything that anyone should ever have to do. I want to test all the aspects of this knife that I can, and do some uncommon things that I think other people maybe won't do or won't think to do. Okay, still looks good. Here's where we're gonna get dumb, okay? And if you don't like dumb stuff, just turn this off. But I wanna see what happens here with the tip test. Okay, so I'm seeing it flexing, and I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up. the blade was flexing when I was first wiggling it around. We'll see if it goes back to true. Yep. Nice. I should wear gloves for this, but YOLO. Actually, no. I take that back. I shouldn't wear gloves because I'm not a pussy. Okay. Not seeing anything at all. Tip is still there. And I don't think you would have to be really stabbing this any harder than that. Sweet. Okay, should we baton through it? Fuck it. I need to bring you guys up just a hair. Okay, this is gonna be dumb. This is just kind of stupid. I don't know if we'll actually be able to make it through this or not, but we can try. But this is dumb. If I stopped missing, that would probably help. So we're really just cracking that wood. It's obviously not going to go through straight. This is a 2x4. So it's just following that grain. That is stuck. Holy hell. Okay, just gonna beat on this thing further, flip it upside down. Smash on that frickin' apex, check that out. This poor thing. Spyderco's gonna be like, why did we send this to her? She just kills everything that she touches. If this doesn't have any damage after this, I'm gonna be mind blown because this is stupid at this point. And we're just doing dumb stuff. Yeah, that's gonna be hard to go through. It'd probably be, let's we'll do some of this. Just try to take some chunks out. Everything is so dang slippery from the rain. And the bugs are brutal. So we're taking layers out of this. I got bugs in my glasses. One last one. Okay. More than anyone would ever have to do with this knife. Or this steel. But, okay, hold on. If I could see without bugs in my eyes, that'd be great. No warping. Nice and straight still. This is where I think we're gonna see some skipping, because that was dumb. Also, this paper is very moist at this point. Hold on, let me get, oh good, I got a piece in my pocket so that's dry. Okay, let's see if it'll go through after all of that dumb stuff. Are you, shut up. Stop. What the are you freaking kidding me? Holy shit. Holy shit. Still razor sharp, and not a single, not even a reflection. Holy crap. Wow. Okay. This, well, now that's actually wild. Let's see what happens when we go through this though, because this is going to be the edge killer. I can't believe that there's nothing wrong with this yet. Okay. We'll do one more. Actually, still feels bitey. Might as well like check, I guess. Keep track of everything. I think this is gonna be what killed it. Hold on. Just really wipe it off here. Yep, that's where we're starting to dull it. But it will still cut. You can just obviously see some reasonable dulling. Let's bring you guys back up for a second. And that would kill a lot of edges. Give it a good wipe down here. Okay. It's still sharp. It's still sharp though. Oh, what the, wait a minute. Hold on. There's like a lot of that sheetrock crap on there, like caked on from the moisture. Holy hell. Okay. This is nutty. This is crazy. Look at how sharp that thing is still. What the moms? That, I've never been able to cut that and still have a working edge. Like sawing through like that. Whoa. Okay, that's pretty dang impressive, guys. There's definitely like a little bit of dulling, but I'm out of paper. It's still, that is still a sharp edge. And like I said, this paper is pretty soaked at this point. Wow. Okay. The final test. And this is where we're just so dumb. But now I really want to check that edge stability. The fun part is we're going to be able to sharpen this next. Okay. So first we're going to just do a light whack, or a couple. Okay. Almost imitating hitting a staple or something, or on a pallet. I don't feel anything. Okay, I think we're gonna go a little harder. Let's cut into it. Okay. We got little copper shavings on there. Now I'm really feeling like that probably should have at least created a roll. Doesn't feel like anything. Nothing. Nothing in that area that we were just working on. Look at that, nothing. Holy hell. Holy crap. Okay, now we're going to really tweak that apex. And this is where I am expecting a catastrophic failure at this point, because we're putting that apex into the copper and we're really twisting it. This is where I'm expecting to have a roll or a chip or a something. Yeah, you can hear that. Just tweaking the hell out of that frickin' apex. All right, let's check. We definitely should have some pretty good damage from that. That's kind of like the brass rod test where we're just really cranking on it. I'm running out of paper here because it's all freaking wet. Okay. So let's see the level of failure that we have from that. Yep, got a little bit of stoppage there. Yep, a little bit. I'll flip the camera around so you guys can see, but I'm telling you right now, it is so minuscule that it's actually, I actually don't even understand that it's so minuscule. Let's look with the front-facing camera. Okay, so that's what our edge looks like right now. Let me see if I can focus here. Okay, so you can see a little roll right there. Some slight reflection. Yep, right there. You can see it's become a little jagged. That is, I'm trying to figure out if it's a chip or a roll. I don't think I can figure out on camera. But that is very minimal damage for what we just did with that copper pipe. That is extremely impressive, and it obviously will still cut. You just saw. Just very, very light damage. That is impressive. All right, so I am blown away at the performance of this MAGNAMAX so far under abusive hard use. The fact that we only have one little, what I am assuming is a roll, because I don't see that the material is gone. I can see that it's just rolled to this side. The fact that we just did all of that and we have just a small section here of light dulling and rolling, that's crazy to me. And obviously we know geometry, BTE, degrees per side, that all plays into this task, but let's just take what we can from this, right? Like we could go back and forth about schematics all day. The point is, this is impressive. This is not an overly thick knife. I think I measured like 15 BTE on this, something like that. And what looks to be, you know, typical 20 degrees per side. And we just have some very, right through there, just some little skips, and then back to normal. That's impressive to me. Right there where we did that copper pipe testing, right there, and then the rest is just fine. So the edge stability and the way that the edge deforms under impact is truly impressive to me personally. I've done tests like this before where I've had catastrophic failures. This is not a catastrophic failure in any sense. We did not lose any material from that apex. It literally just rolled to the side or crushed inward. But we did not have a literal microchip of steel come out of that apex. We just have some slight deformation. Yep, you can see right there. That, you know, I don't want to do the whole hype steel thing because I know that's going to come at me. I'm trying to contain how excited I am about MAGNAMAX though. This is, guys, this is something else. I think this is very special. That is really impressive. I cannot wait to get this on the stones. That will be the next video on this MAGNAMAX, is the sharpening. And I'm really gonna try to go balls to the moms on that one in terms of really delving into how it's moving on the stones, what stones we're using, the progression, everything. I want that to be a whole thing in itself. But I am blown away at the performance of this. And guys, that's the other thing, is like, we have some deformation where we did that copper pipe test, but it's still sharp. Like, if you were to damage your apex with this steel on the job site or something, and you're waiting to get through the rest of your day or whatever to get it on the stones, it's still going to cut. This thing is still sharp as all heck, even on the damaged parts. But it's still toothy as hell, guys. So I'm just blown away at the performance of this so far. I really am. I would say this has dang good toughness, strength, edge stability. I'm really impressed. I'm trying not to like do my little freak out thing, because people are gonna be like, oh, you think it's a hype steel? Yeah, well, I'm with your mom. Get over it. I'm stoked about this. Okay, I think that's good for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. MAGNAMAX is pretty freaking cool so far. I will see you guys on the next video. Go use your shit, but don't do dumb stuff like me. Learn to sharpen your knives. It gets you mom points. I'll see you guys on the next video. I love you so much, fam. Take care.